YouTube. In this video, we're going to look at the Rode VideoMic Go 2. This is a reasonably priced microphone at $100 and is pretty easy to use. All you need is a cable to just plug and play between your camera or computer or phone, for example. We're going to do some sound tests compared to some microphones I have, such as the Shure MV7 and the Sony Bluetooth microphone I have, which is the ECM W2BT. I'll give a product overview and give my thoughts and opinions. If this content is of any help, please like and subscribe as it helps the channel a lot. And any questions or opinions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Right, let's go. Okay, first up, we're just going to take a quick look at the product itself, see what comes in the box, and give a quick overview tour of the microphone. So this is the Rode VideoMic Go 2. This is it connected to its shock mount with the windshield attached. When we look at the connections that are on the actual product, we can see here that on the side we have USB-C, and on the other side, directly across from it, is the 3.5mm headphone jack. This is a super cardioid microphone, so it generally just picks up voice from the direction that's in front of it and does a decent job of dampening sounds from the sides or behind it. But overall, it's good to use, I find, from distances of up to 1 to 2 meters. You can still get good sound, good coverage for use on YouTube videos, for example, where you want to be out of frame. Also in the box is the 3.5mm headphone jack. So if we just take the microphone off its shock mount, just to get a closer look. So this is it here, how it looks when just completely on its own. You have no buttons, nothing else in terms of display or any indication of sound settings. It's just a USB-C connection and the 3.5mm jack. This really speaks to the simplicity of this microphone. It doesn't need a battery, you just connect it to your source and away you go. If we take a look at some quick measurements, we can see that the length of the product comes in at about 12 centimeters, with the width being no more than 2 centimeters. So overall, pretty good size for traveling. The weight of the mic is 33 grams for the mic only, 89 grams with the shock mount, and 96 grams with all the included accessories. So overall, a very compact, well made. It's kind of metal frame, no obvious issues or flaws with the device when I got it. All looks great, all has worked great, so no issues there. Right, next up, we're going to do some sound tests. I'm going to connect my Sony microphone, which is the Bluetooth one. The model on that is the ECM W2BT, and I also have this microphone, the Shure MV7. So 3 comparisons. I will label each one so you know what's playing, and it'll all come into Final Cut Pro unedited. The only thing I'll be changing are the levels to make sure that the audio is consistent throughout in terms of volume. Right, hopefully this helps with your buying decision. This is an audio test of the Rode VideoMic Go 2. This is an audio test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Right now I have the Rode VideoMic Go 2 plugged directly into my iPad using the USB-C cable. Once the microphone is plugged in, the iPad will detect it straight away, and you can use then a recording app like I'm using here, such as the Shure recording app, to record audio. This is easy to use, plug and play, simple setup, it works very well. The distance I'm from the microphone right now is about 1 meter at a 66% gain setting. So now you're hearing the audio as it's coming through and it's been directly transferred over to Final Cut Pro. There's no editing of this audio or filters added, it's just simply adjusted for levels so that the audio volume is consistent throughout. So this is an audio test, testing 1, 2, 3. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Let me know if you think the quality is good, especially when you compare it to the other 2 microphones. One other feature I'd like to discuss at this stage of the review is the Rode Central application for the VideoMic Go 2. This application is for both PC and Mac, as well as phones and tablets, Android, iOS, for example. This application allows you to adjust many different settings and features within the microphone, including updating the firmware. But for example, you can adjust input level and you also have direct monitoring control. It has a high pass filter and a high frequency boost and a 20 dB pad. I, for example, would often use the high pass filter to help reduce background noise. When using this microphone with a computer, the VideoMic Go 2, as we see here, works as a fully functional USB microphone, complete with the headphone monitoring using the 3.5mm output. So using this application is definitely worthwhile, as it allows you to apply filters and features that will help reduce the amount of editing you might have to do later in post. So definitely download this app if you get this microphone. Okay, for this part of the test, we're just running the audio straight off the Sony ECM W2BT that we have here. So this is a Bluetooth microphone that I use with my Sony ZV-1, and you can see in the pictures here it connects through the hot shoe as a Bluetooth connection to this receiver here, which I've connected through a microphone cable that has been connected here at my top to allow for me to use as an audio interface. The one thing I found about this microphone is that I hear a lot of background hiss, and takes a bit of time to treat that in Final Cut Pro. So this again has come in completely unfiltered except for the levels. Let me know if you can hear that hiss in the background, especially if I go silent here for a second to see what you think. If you notice it, let me know in the comments, but that was one of the reasons I wanted to get the Rode microphone, was to take away that extra level of editing I'd have to do in YouTube. And it's one of the, while this microphone works great, very good outdoors, I think that its biggest flaw is that constant background hiss. And I mean, I've tried it with all the different levels here and options within it, and still really only, other than a slight difference, it's always there. Right, so next up, we're going to look at the Shure microphone here, which I'll connect up. Right, the final test is just to give you one more listen to the Shure MV7. The only difference this time with the audio is that I'm bringing it in untreated. So what you hear now is the Shure MV7 brought into Final Cut Pro, again with just levels adjustment. So this is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is a test of the Shure MV7 microphone. And again, it'll allow you to compare the audio, especially for the spoken voice, if that's your intent, which was mine for this Rode VideoMic Go 2. So, have a listen to the audio, compare with the two other samples, see what you think. Overall, I do like the sound that comes out of the Shure MV7, just for ease of use and also for the quality. I think the Rode VideoMic Go 2 is an excellent purchase. Now, this microphone is a lot more expensive. It's a dynamic microphone. You need to be pretty close to it to get kind of good audio. It's good for streaming, but for a interface for YouTube, I think the Rode is the way to go. Listen, let me know how you think this mic is compared to the other two. Let me know in the comments below your favorites. Okay, overall my thoughts on the Rode VideoMic Go 2 are that of impressed. This is a really good microphone for the money. It works great for YouTube videos. It allows you to have good distance from your mic, and especially if you use settings like the high pass filter in a product like an iPad or a phone, it helps remove some of the background noise while you're recording, making it much easier when you bring it into Final Cut Pro for processing. I think compared to the Sony microphone you saw where there's a lot of background hiss, and while I do love the Shure MV7, I think for YouTube where you want potentially a microphone out of frame, I find the Rode much easier for that, much kind of lighter and easier to move around the office here depending on what videos I'm shooting. Overall, I don't think you're going to have any regrets here. The main pros are great sound. It's it's self-powered, and it's small and easy to use. If any cons, I'd say the fact it doesn't come with a USB-C cable, which really doesn't affect the product itself. It's just in terms of presentation, and the fact it maybe doesn't come, if you're doing a lot of outside shooting, a fluffy windshield. But other than that, I'm nitpicking here. This is a great microphone. It works very well. I would recommend you use it with a laptop or a phone just for those added features, because I have noticed when I connected it straight to the camera, the sound quality just was not as good. It is much better coming from a device where you can, especially when you can turn on some of those settings to affect the sound as it's recording. Bring it into your Final Cut Pro, sync the videos, and you move along your process much better. Listen, I hope you've found this review helpful. Any questions, let me know. I know it's been short, but I've only used it for a few weeks here. I just wanted to give you my initial impressions. Thanks for watching.